When I first uploaded this, people in the comments said that I had misrepresented Joe Rogan's beliefs about rape. I included these clips not because I think he doesn't believe men can't be raped, but as a contrast to the news that America is A, one of the worst nations in the world due to the allegedly high rate of sexual assault of women specifically, and a recent story in which a woman raped a man at Machete point but was not charged with rape. I have to ask, however, is there really that much of a difference between thinking men can't be raped and thinking that if men are raped, it's not that big of a deal, or at the very least, there is a big difference between a male victim of sexual assault and a female victim of sexual assault?
Don't listen to men's rights activists if you want to know what they have to say.
Don't listen to men's rights activists if you want to know what they have to say. Don't listen to men's rights activists if you want to know what they have to say.
Hello, listenators! Welcome to another edition of Breaking Badger News. I'm the stapler in charge, and with me is my trusty Doge.
What?
Just joking. It's probably clear I don't like being in charge. I mean, I was a stapler. Today we're talking about how America is one of the most dangerous countries in the world. For women. And peak X craziness. Let's get right into it, you beautiful bastards.
You may have thought the most dangerous countries for women were Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Pakistan, India, and Somalia. But this year's Thomson Reuters Foundation survey's results may surprise you. Quote, the United States came 10th overall, but ranked joint 3rd with Syria when respondents were asked where women most risked sexual violence, harassment, and coercion into sex, and 6th regarding non-sexual violence such as domestic and mental abuse. The survey involved asking 550 experts in women's issues which of the 193 United Nations member states they considered most dangerous on a range of issues. The rank of the US may have jumped amid the hashtag #MeToo campaign. Quote, almost 1 in 5 women have been raped, and more than 1 in 3 experienced rape, violence, or stalking by an intimate partner, according to 2010 statistics by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, end quote. Cindy Southworth, Executive Vice President at the National Network to End Domestic Violence, said media coverage of the United States has built an image of violence against women, but questioned its accuracy. People watch the U.S., she said. They watch our elections. They watch our media coverage. They watch our celebrity violence against women cases. The perception is understandable, but not based on reality. Other countries are much more dangerous for women who face conflict in practices such as female genital mutilation or child marriage, according to the United Nations. Rates of femicide are more extreme in Latin America, and 49 countries have no laws to protect women from domestic violence, according to UN Women.
In other news, Samantha Ray Mears, 19, used a machete to force her ex to have sex with her and isn't being charged with rape. At least not yet. I've heard of crazy exes, but this is a whole new level. Mears broke into her ex of 7 years' home and waited for him to return. When he did, she forced him to take off his clothes and have sex with her at knife point. Fearing for his life, he complied. When he tried to get her to stop, she bit him on the arm. Quote, after she finished, she sat naked on the bed, brandishing the weapon. At that point, the victim was able to take several photos of her, which he turned over to the police as evidence. When an argument ensued soon after, an enraged Mears ripped a piece of trim from the victim's wall and deliberately urinated in his bed, according to KFBB. He was able to call 911, and the state has also filed a restraining order against her. Mears was charged on Friday with 2 felonies, aggravated burglary, and assault with a weapon, as well as misdemeanors including unlawful restraint, partner/family member assault, and 2 counts of criminal mischief. Mischief. There's no word yet on whether a charge will be filed on the non-consensual.
No rape charges.
Sex. Non-consensual sex.
I guess it's not rape. Yeah.
Yeah, well, none of these articles I found on this are describing this as a rape. The closest it gets is sexual intercourse without consent, which is the definition of rape.
Yeah, right. Well, according to Joe Rogan, men can't be raped, Lindsay.
Are we playing little stupid games and pretending that girls rape guys when they're drunk, or that it's really devastating for the guy? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Again, this is where the identity politics of all this ruins everything. Because what you're not saying that anyone that gets drunk, you're saying if a girl, really. Although that one example that you gave is true.
The one example is ridiculous.
Right, it's a complete throwaway, ridiculous
It just shows you how fucking stupid the university is that they let that fly. They should have smacked him. Send him back to class. Smack him in the face.
Yeah.
Send him right back to class.
Congratulations, buddy. You got laid.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, you were drunk and a girl took advantage of your penis? Oh, did you orgasm? You did. Shut the fuck up then. Get out of here.
That's just not possible. And of course, we know the U.S. is one of the most dangerous places on the planet for women, so this article cannot be real.
You are fake news.
She's probably defending himself or herself against his virile penis with a knife and sex. Some thoughts on this?
So the 1 in 5 statistic.
Yes.
The good old 1 in 5.
Yeah, the UN seems to love that number, and it does help to make the US seem way more dangerous from women when you put in that good old 1 in 5 number.
Christina Hoff Sommers did a video on it.
Mm-hmm.
She said that it's at odds with actual crime statistics. That it was a telephone survey with a very low response rate, and the people that did respond were non-representative. They were a non-representative sample.
Yeah.
And rape was it wasn't defined at all. It was just these vague questions that led you.
Yeah, it's the old Mary Koss study where they basically asked a series of questions, and the one that essentially pumped up the numbers of females that were raped or that were defined as being raped were the ones where the question was, have you ever had sex while you were drunk or inebriated?
Right.
And so when women say, oh yeah, I've had sex while I was drunk because lots of people have, then they were like, that's rape! And then they saw the number, and they were like, well, it means that most women are getting raped because they're having sex while they're drunk. So yeah, and then they take that 1 in 5 number, and they take it to the UN, and they say, look at how bad rape is. You know, it's funny. I want to go back. It's funny because we talked about on the show how the number of rapes that are being pumped up by this 1 in 5 statistic, they make it comparable to the Congo, where, you know, rape is actually a thing that's so bad that they have signs out that say, you know, please don't rape. And there's pictures, sort of you know how you have the man walking across the street sign? It's like a man chasing a woman and grabbing her by the dress.
Yeah.
So they have signage out there to warn against it. And even then, the rape epidemic in the Congo was far lower than the 1 in 5 statistic, even in the place where it's supposedly the worst. And yet, I'm surprised that the U.S. wasn't number fucking 1, considering the Me Too campaign and the 1 in 5. But maybe the Me Too campaign is far worse than the other countries listed. Maybe they have their own Me Too, and it's that's why. By the way, how bad is it for men in those countries? I wonder.
Yeah.
How bad is it for men in this country? I mean, one just got held up at knife point, machete point, to have sex with somebody.
Somebody they're not calling it rape. It's not a rape charge instantly.
Somebody who's willing to pee on the bed as an act of defiance during an argument.
She's clearly crazy.
She's really fucked up. It's I didn't know Montana made crazy like that. It's like the hills have eyes. It's nuts.
Well, one of the things that what was that Reuters article, it brought up, other countries are more dangerous, because they have practices such as female genital mutilation. I don't know if I have to point out.
Oh yeah, sure. That circumcision is probably normal, and if not expected, standard.
Yeah, and I think generally speaking, places that have really high violent crime rates, it probably affects both sexes.
Yeah, again, it's like measure a society by how it treats its women. And that's how you know whether it's good. And I think that's what the UN... the UN is full of shit anyway. They have, like, Saudi Arabia on there and countries that are pretty bad for everybody, but are often, like, lifted up as being especially bad for women, even though it's just sort of bad for everybody. And yet they're on the UN Council. So take that for what it is, UN. Let's see how credible does that make you, really? Why should we listen? Yeah, that's all we got to say about that. Tell us what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe. We are Brian and Lindsay from this edition of Breaking Badger News, and we'll see you guys next time.
It's ridiculous across the board. It's far more ridiculous, though, when a guy is accusing... Let's just be honest about this. It's far more ridiculous when a guy is accusing a girl of rape in those circumstances. And I don't want to hear all your progressive nonsense screaming and yelling and no, it's not, and we're all equal. Fuck you. It's not the same.
Yeah. All right, so let's split the difference on that one. So now it's a sorority party in college. The girls decide they're going to drop roofies in a couple of the guys' things. Late at night, girls are just, let's just...
Depends on what the girls look like.
Right. Okay, so girls look good, right? So a bunch of hot chicks. Now they drug these guys. I mean, I'm sure this has happened. This has definitely happened.
I've never heard of it. If you're sure it's happened...
It's got to have happened.
Do you think they roofied a guy?
I'm sure a guy has been... I'm pretty sure I got roofied by a girl in college once.
Really?
Yeah. But just playing that one out for a second, if a girl did that to a guy, managed to get him hard, fucked him...
Right.
I think you'd think it's the same thing.
I say walk it off. Walk it off, pussy. Those are my 4 words.
Suck it up. Suck it up.
Walk it off, pussy. You got laid.